Joining us now is Scott Bauer, CEO of Prosper Trading Academy. And Scott, when you take a look at what's been going on with oil, we have crude prices off over 20% from their high that they hit in January. How big of a downside risk do you see coronavirus being to crude at this point?
Well, it's so interesting because with the rally we saw this morning absolutely get faded and sold with every uptick. It tells me that there's more of a risk to crude to the downside because of the supply and demand issue, or as much as the supply and demand issue as there is with the coronavirus. Because, the rest of the market rallying on, some supposed good news, no cure or anything yet, but, some supposed good news here. However, after that rally in crude here, maybe the issue is not just the virus, but global supply and demand with the oversupply, lack of demand.
Scott, how big of a disruption do you think the coronavirus could have on crude in the short term?
Well, I think we've already seen a good chunk of that. I think we've probably seen at least, half of the move that we've seen over the last week due to the virus. The rest of it is probably just fundamental with a supply and demand issue. But I do think that the fear in the marketplace, that psychology in the marketplace that, listen, China is down 20%, of their crude demand right now. And they're, 500,000 barrels a day or something like that. So that is a good chunk of it. If the situation worsens, I think there's probably at least another 10% in crude to the downside. But again, longer term, my focus is more on the supply-demand issue than it is on the coronavirus.
Well, talking about the supply-demand issue, as it stands right now, not even talking about what's been going on with the coronavirus over the last 2 weeks, do you think OPEC should further scale back some of its production? Or how do you see, what do you see as being the best decision at this point?
Should or could. I can't get inside their heads, but I definitely think they will. I think they will not only extend those cuts that are supposed to expire in March beyond that, but I think they are going to cut back even further here. Now, is there going to be a timetable on that? Nobody knows. Are they going to do it for 2 weeks? Are they going to do it for 3 more months? Nobody knows. But yes, I think they need to do something. I'm not sure how effective it's actually going to be.
Scott, switching gears here a little bit and talking about gold. Now, obviously, we've seen some demand for safety plays as investors have been a bit spooked in terms of what the coronavirus outbreak could mean for not only the U.S. Market, but also just the global markets. Do you think we could see a bigger spike in the price of gold in the short term?
It actually has not spiked as much as maybe we would have thought it would have, given the risk-off sentiment that we had over the last week. Obviously today, the big rally, kind of puts that back a little bit. But listen, if there is another scare, and I truly believe there will be, I'm not trying to, sensationalize this whatsoever. I just don't think that we know enough yet of what's going to happen. Then yes, I think we can see gold probably rally another, maybe even upwards of another 5% in a very, very short time.
All right, Scott Bauer, thanks for joining me today.